Welcome. I don't think I want to start it like that. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
We're going to leave it in there anyways. Okay, so some of our favorite YouTubers, Lisa and Josh, if you don't know Lisa and Josh, look up Lisa and Josh. They put together great content, really cool videos, and we really like the way that they shoot their stuff. So one of the things that I used to do is I used to have a travel podcast. When I was traveling all over the world, I would, you know, share information about the places I was going, things I was doing, all of that type of stuff. I'm really big on podcasting. So because we have this YouTube channel, I know most people come to see all of these great, beautiful sceneries and all these amazing places that we're going and food that we're eating and stuff that we're doing with our baby. But we want to give you guys kind of a, not so much a behind the scenes look, but a bit more of a
Realistic in the making.
Yeah.
Something.
answering questions, letting you know the things that we find to be very beneficial, talking about, traveling with the kid, all of this type of stuff. So we have a parenting podcast that will probably just be dropping this on as well, because our parenting style is take our kid places and make sure
They're
don't-
same.
yeah, we don't ruin him or something like that. So the idea will be every week or so come with new travel topics. My old podcast was called Talk Travel to Me, so we might call this section Talk Travel to Me. And we'll drop in some clips of us here and there when we're talking about things like driving through Iceland in a camper van and hitting the hot springs that I have no idea how to pronounce the names in Prague.
Oh, in Prague. Yeah,
Budapest.
Yeah.
I think that was Budapest. Yeah. But anyways, so I think today's topic, before we start getting questions from people, if anybody actually watches these or follows this, is we want to talk about how we afford to travel. And then we want to talk about some travel, I wouldn't call them hacks, but some like tips and tricks that we've used to get some pretty affordable travel all around the world, because Lord knows that things are getting more expensive.
Yeah, flights are crazy, man.
Yeah, after COVID,
Fucking crazy.
they've skyrocketed, especially going out to Asia from the U.S. Once we get out to Asia and we move over there, it won't be bad. We'll just be hopping around, be super cheap. But to get from here to there right now, not affordable. Can be. So we want to talk about that. All right, so let's first talk about how we afford to travel. So,
And how do we have the time?
yeah, how do we have the time to travel, the flexibility to travel? So, what do you do for work?
I am an insurance broker for financial institutions. Yeah, sounds really boring. I've been doing that I started at that company-ish 15 years ago. It has been bought and sold a couple times within the last 15 years. However, I started there when I was 20, and it was just a little mom and pop shop. They didn't really care about PTO. Like, if any of us wanted to go, we could just go. Like, no one was counting anything. And it was so funny because I think it was yesterday, I was just saying, like, when I was going to Arizona State while working there, I was just like, okay, it's in the middle of the day. I'm going to go to my class now. See you later. And they would just be like, okay, see you later. Have fun. Like, it was so chill.
So finding a good job that's going to allow you to have some flexibility, and then your company has been bought out a few times by other companies,
Yeah.
larger companies,
More corporate.
more
so
corporate,
definitely
so
more
less flexibility.
Yeah.
And I also work in insurance, but more on the side of like teaching people how to build family banking systems so they control their money, their cash flow, everything like that. Something that I'm sure we'll talk about on this channel at some point. And with your job, with bonuses, we both make like essentially low six figures with what we do as far as the income goes. And then we have some investments that we utilize as well that create passive income, like our rentals, our business investments, things like that.
Yeah, we have 2 rental houses.
2 rental houses. We invest in a few different like things, businesses, notes, different stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So basically I work for myself, so I make my own schedule. I'm extremely flexible. Her job is really the only thing that ever kind of holds us up at all,
Yeah,
but they've been pretty flexible.
I'm salary. So I'm expected to do the 9 to 5. When my company sold the first time, just because everyone who had rolled over into the new company, we essentially got, quote, grandfathered in at the max PTO, which is about 5 weeks a year, which is really good for corporate America. Like, this company had like 8,000 employees. And then last year, they would not let me work there from Mexico.
Yes,
So
very true. When we moved to Mexico, they had a 3-month rule. So they were like, you can still work here for 3 months after that. You either got to come back or
we'll
whatever.
see you when you come back. And they saw me when we came back.
Yeah.
And so part of that rehire process, they said, okay, we'll pay you the same salary that you were before you left. And I said, okay, well, I want my PTO, because they were trying to give me the new hire PTO. And I said, no.
No. Keanu.
So I'm like not at the max where I was, but I'm very close. Like, I'm still like 4.5-ish weeks of PTO, give or take. I don't know. It's always negative, so I never really know. Luckily, they let me go negative. Shout out to you, company.
That's really cool. If you don't work with a company that lets you go negative in your PTO, maybe think about working for a different company. So yeah, I think that's one of the big benefits is like they allow you to go negative, because if they didn't allow you to go negative, we'd be
not good.
Not nearly as many trips. So I think another really important thing is being on top of our budget and everything. Like, we're really big on saving for trips, and where we put our money, is into our family banking system, not the bank, but our family banking system that we've been building. And one thing that we've been able to do is, I guess you could say, live below our means. So what I mean by that is the money that Amanda makes from her job basically covers all of our expenses. Therefore, the money that I make from my job is all considered to be free money for investments, for trips, for funneling into our banking system, all of that type of stuff. Sorry, we have football on in the background, and somebody just got blasted that was standing on the sidelines filming, so that sucks. Anyways, I think that really allows us the financial means to do all of these things. And if that's not you, if you're married or if you have a significant other, and my suggestion would be figure out how your budget can fit within inside one person's income, or very close to one person's income.
We're very fortunate, and I know that's not going to be everyone's case.
Nope, not for sure.
But yeah, it's very reassuring to be like, okay, well, if something,
even if it's for a short period of time, like a year or two, that you crunch down your budget to that small, that'll give you the ability to stack some of that cash and maybe not travel with it, but put it into investments that's going to create you some more cash flow. Yeah. So then you can start having additional money to do things with. So I think that's really big. Again, traveling is like, outside of keeping our son alive, traveling is like top tier in things that we place importance in.
Yeah, and I think that's one reason why we mesh so well together in the beginning. I mean, your number one priority was travel. Mm-hmm. It almost threw me off in the beginning. I was like, what?
This guy travels so much.
Yeah, this guy travels so much. But being married and together for so many years, like, we have found the really good balance.
7 years. We've been together for 7 years.
We've been together for 7 years, yeah.
And counting.
Yes. Forever and ever. We figured out, like, okay, well, travel is really important to us. Like, obviously, COVID was sad for a lot of people, but it, like, made us so sad that we couldn't go anywhere. We had all these trips, and then they had to get canceled, and then we booked some, and then those had to get canceled, and no refunds, and blah, blah, blah.
We had Peru. We had Costa Rica. We had... Japan, which we ended up rebooking.
Guatemala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like, I said Costa Rica. I think it was Guatemala. Yes. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. But again, being able to keep our budget down as far as our expenses, and I mean, before we had a kid, that was super easy. Now that we have a
Yeah.
kid, there's a little bit more expenses that come with that, of course.
Yeah.
But one thing that we've done that I think is super unique, I'm not saying that you need to do this, but this is kind of something that every single family outside the country does at some point in their lives, is we have a multi-generational household. So
Yes.
we bought a home out here in Florida with my parents. Don't worry, we have a pretty solid relationship.
I know everyone always freaks out
Yeah, they're
when.
like, oh my God, I could never live
Yeah.
with my parents or my spouse's parents.
Yes,
Which I understand
am
that.
lucky that my in-laws are dope,
Yeah.
and we get along great.
We travel a lot of places with them. We're always doing things together. So although they are my parents, we are also grown-ups. My sister lives out here, so they spend some time down with her as well. But that allowed us to go in on a house together and cut our mortgage, our cost of the mortgage, down to $1,000 a month, which is, I mean, come on, unless you're renting somewhere that you probably don't exactly want to be or doesn't fit your family, you're not getting anything for $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So that was a huge help. You're essentially putting $1,000 back in our pocket on a monthly basis. So all that to say, that's how we afford to travel. We're just very particular about where we spend our money and the things that we focus on.
And traveling is where we spend our money. Everything
Yes.
else is cut down to the.
We're like, man, if we
the
didn't
very
travel, we're like
minimal.
$3,000 on this trip, $5,000 on this trip. We spent $7,500 doing this. We're like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of. We spend a lot of money a year on travel, but that's what's important to us, and
It's
that's what makes
all
us
about-
happy.
Yeah, it's all about the experiences, the memories. We look back so fondly on things that we've done. We've done so many cool things. We'll make additional episodes or videos about some of the highlights of things that we've done. But
Here I am. I'm getting teary-eyed.
yeah, look at that. Jeez.
Just
What
thinking
a
about all my
wimp.
wonderful life.
And it's going to be even cooler when we move over to Southeast Asia, because everything's going to be so much more condensed together that we can go from one country to another and get these really cool experiences. Like, people know living out here in the U.S., you could travel from state to state, but that doesn't give you enough variety. The idea is we want to be able to travel from country to country, do all these different things, and living in Europe or Southeast Asia provide you with that flexibility. Central America as well, or South America.
But let's be real. We in the U.S. we've hit
We've hit a lot of states.
We've hit almost all corners except the
Yep.
super northeast.
Yep, we've hit a lot of states, been a lot of places that people would want to go. So again, we just enjoy traveling. So that's why it's very tip-top priority on our list, outside of making sure that our son doesn't die on a daily basis. The next thing is, how do we do all these things? Now that we know how we afford them, how do we actually find the deals and the stuff to book? So do you want to talk about going really quickly? We're members. People are always like, I'm trying to sell me on a membership, this, that, or the other thing.
Bro.
Listen,
Bro.
bro, if you don't know about Going, formerly known as Scott's Cheap Flights, you're tripping. And not the good type of tripping, like going places. You're tripping like, I don't have another good terminology to use from that, but Going has saved us probably tens of thousands of dollars since we've been using it. Just the last 7 years we've been together. We've also used it before we met each other. But,
Yes, I've been a member since June of 2018,
wow. Okay. So
which
right,
is right before we started dating.
yeah. Wow. That's crazy. So I must have. I don't know who told you about
I
it.
had a paid membership since June of 2018.
So when we say paid membership, what we mean by that is it is $50 for the year.
Yep, I'm
for
looking
this.
at it right now.
There is a free version of the membership, and I talk about all this in the book that I'm putting out that's focused more around money and stuff like that. But we pay $50 a year. There is a free version. The free version limits you to utilizing it in the U.S., which is not something that we're looking for. But the free version, you pay your $50 and it'll pay for itself 100 times over.
Yeah.
So kind of explain to them what Going is all about and how we utilize it.
Yeah, so they just had a name change this year, I believe, maybe last year. It used to be called Scott's Cheap Flights. I don't know if we mentioned that. But essentially what it does is the employees of Going, they're constantly scouring Google Flights for deals. And they look for obviously, like our home airports, for example, you can set any of them within the U.S. And if you have the paid membership, then you can set, I don't know, maybe
multiple.
5, 10 home airports. So I have Pensacola.
And what she means by home airports is they suggest something that you can get to fairly easily, so you can pay much less to go on the big trip.
Yeah. So it will alert you from international deals and domestic deals from those airports.
Mm-hmm.
So the good thing, well, I'll say, so for example, our flight alerts are for Pensacola, Orlando, Tampa, Tallahassee, Atlanta, and New Orleans, because we can either drive or get to those places in a decent amount of time. So we get deals from those airports to cities all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we get an alert, it will say flight deal from Atlanta to Iceland between January and March 2026. We think this deal will last 3 days. Something similar to
it's
that.
$350 round trip.
Yeah. It'll tell you how much it is. It'll tell you what airports to search from. So obviously if your quote selected home airport is part of that list, it will alert you of it. That's the benefit of having the paid version, is that you're not getting spammed of, flight deals from Seattle if you live in Florida.
Yeah.
So that's how we booked pretty much all of our flights. So the thing about that is you don't necessarily get a say in the destinations. You just get a say in the origin. So you have to be flexible on where your destination is or what side of the world. If you say, we got a flight deal to London, but I want to go to Scotland, well, it's really
Germany.
easy. Yeah, it's really easy to get from London to Scotland or Germany. So as long as you're using the flight deal to get to the side of the world that you want to go to, it just opens up so much more opportunities. And then even going to places that maybe weren't even on your first idea of places to go, but because it was cheap to go there,
We'll check it out.
You check it out. Yeah.
So it's really cool because sure, it makes you act fairly fast on booking it. But like Amanda said, there's time windows, months and months in advance, that you can book for. So you get a lot of flexibility in that window to save up and prepare for that trip. So for example, they might hit you up with an alert saying, we believe this trip to Japan will last for 24 to 48 hours. Luckily for us, we have the ability to be flexible with our time, especially in the future that we plan for. So we say, you know what? This deal for $500, whatever, to go over to Japan. I don't even think that's $500 anymore. That was
$700 is a good deal
pre-COVID.
now.
That was pre-COVID. So normally you're looking at a trip to go over Japan, $1,100, something like that. They're like, hey, you could do this for $650, $700, and you're like, sweet. We've been waiting for something like this. Let's jump on it. They'll say it lasts for 24 to 48 hours, but we can book 6 months in advance, and we have this big window that we can book in.
Yeah.
So we'll book it, we'll hop on it, and then we'll do all of our planning and, hotels, all of that stuff after we get it booked. We don't plan anything. We just say, we know we want to go to Japan. Maybe we actually want to go to Taiwan or something, but we know we can get from Japan to Taiwan for super cheap, and we haven't seen a deal over to Taiwan, so we're like, fuck it, let's just go to Japan. Maybe we'll hit a few days in Japan, and then we'll bounce over to Taiwan, and we'll make it a cheap trip like that because, hey, this was the most affordable way to get out there.
And that is basically what we're doing on the trip next month.
Yeah.
We wanted to go to Vietnam, and there was a flight deal to Taiwan. Neither of us have been to Taiwan.
Nope.
So we're going to head over there,
Check it out.
Yeah.
Boy, have we watched a lot of videos on Taiwan.
God, I'm
now
super excited.
We're like, short-term renting in Taiwan. Like, let's see what the market looks like. Let's check some things out because we're looking at places. I think our goal year one when we move is not to move to a place and stay there. It's to bounce around to a few different places and stay for a few months in each place and really get a feel for where it is that we want to be.
And I think the cool thing about that idea is, like, unless you're applying for like a certain digital nomad visa, which is only available in like not Philippines, but Malaysia and Thailand. Like Taiwan's visa is 3 months. Japan's visa is 3 months. I think China, you can possibly get 3 months.
China's got a lot of rules.
Yeah, but like Vietnam is 3 months. So that's plenty of time to get a feel.
Settle in, get a routine going,
Yeah.
feel how things feel in the community, and then be like, hey, could I be here long term? And some of those other places have slightly more like seasons, depending where you're at. So, if we're someplace in the middle of the summer and we know that it's going to be this temperature basically the entire time, we might be like in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. It's almost always the same temperature.
Singapore too.
Hot as shit. So the idea is like, all right, well, if we go here for 3 months and we're like, this is brutal, I cannot stand 12 months of this, then we know, cool, great place to visit, probably not the location that we want to live in. Sorry I keep scratching my nose. The combination of a nose ring and a mustache are not good. It's frustrating. But I'm not going to shave my mustache because then I'll look like an Amish person who just has a beard but no mustache. Weird. Anyways, so we utilize going all the time. And when going isn't providing us with the destination that we might want to go to, Google Flights, Skyscanner, Google Flights, just going into Google Flights and saying, hey, search anywhere
explore
or
page.
everywhere. Yeah, explore everywhere or anywhere. I don't remember what word it is, but it'll take you from your airport, or you pick an airport, maybe like I usually do Orlando because it's somewhat close to us, super cheap to get to, and Orlando is a much larger international airport. And then I'll see where in the world it will take me to. It's like, hey, do you want to go to Paris for $400 round trip? Do you want to go over to Greece for $500 round trip? If you were actually asking people on the street, how much does it cost to fly from here over to this part of Europe or Asia or wherever? Most people would be like, that's probably like $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
When you search these style of flights, like through their search engine, it's not always that price, but you'll get to see they're like, hey, in the month of March or between March and April, you can go here for this cost. And this is a low cost or this is a high cost, so don't look right now. But some great tools there that have saved us so much money on the back end. And, we were going to travel anyways. We're going to spend the money anyways. Like if flights were more expensive, now we have a child that we're bringing with us.
And he's about to turn 2, which means we're going to have to start paying for his ticket. And that's why our kids are going to max out at 2 of them because I don't want to buy 3 extra tickets.
Only 2 kids. We actually had to buy his ticket because we booked a trip upcoming here in March where we're going to Japan and China, like we already mentioned. And he turns 2 in January. So we're like, shit, we're about to go on this trip. We paid with points because we utilize our credit cards for a bunch of things, everything we can, but we didn't have enough points to pay for his ticket. So we had to purchase him his own ticket, and the wallet felt that, be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like another $700 ticket.
Yeah, and I was like, I was so oblivious because we didn't have kids until we had one. And so the question was like, the kids get a discount, right? It's like a Happy Meal. They get it costs less for them because they're small, right?
It does not.
No, it doesn't. They pay the same price as an adult. That's insane. It's insane to me.
Yeah, if they're a lap child, then it's 10% of the adult fare, which he will be a lap child on our...
But you can't be a lap child if you're 2
No.
or older.
Yeah.
So, boy, it was...
Yeah,
harsh reality.
Yeah, that's definitely going to, I mean, hopefully we're only going to be more and more financially successful to where we can still do the trips that we want to do. And I think that's like...
And again, if we're living over in Southeast Asia or in Europe, both places that we plan on living, we've been there before. We know what getting around there is like. It's so much more affordable to go from country to country.
So you can take a train.
Systems, whatever it may be. If we're feeling super cheap, we could take a bus. I'm not taking the Greyhound bus out here in the States. I'm going to get stabbed. Look at me. I look like somebody that would be doing the stabbing. Instead, if I take the Greyhound bus, I'm getting stabbed. I know it for sure. They have sleeper buses there. They have all sorts of stuff, such cool stuff. And you know who's not stabbing you? People in other countries, unless you're probably in the UK where they don't have access to guns, so they're stabbing everybody. But that's for another point. We got our own issues here. Don't get on the Greyhound bus.
That's too funny.
Or the Amtrak. My mom's like, they got the Amtrak. You guys want to ride? I'm like, the Amtrak is the Greyhound bus.
On a train.
Train style.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not doing the Amtrak.
That's too
We
funny.
like riding trains. We like riding buses.
In other countries.
Yeah, not there.
Yeah.
So, really, hopefully this was some valuable information. Do you have anything else that you want to share
About going.
or any other platform that we use? At some point in time, we'll have to talk about Klook. For a while,
Klook.
people
Agoda.
kept talking about Klook, which is this like booking. I think you book essentially everything from there, but we booked a bunch of experiences and different stuff, different tours on there. And Lisa and Josh, the YouTubers that we like, talk about them all the time on their stuff. Like, oh, if you like this, we booked this on Klook. We've seen a couple people do that.
You can book train tickets.
You can book essentially everything on there. And so we had looked it up, and some people were like, this shit is not good. This is whatever. There were some bad reviews. And I'm like, that's interesting. So many of our favorite people that do travel blogs talk about this. So we booked a bunch of stuff through there recently. Once we get back from our trip, we'll let you know if any of those things were actually real. But finding a good all-in-one, make it easy, take care of it for you place like that, like we started booking more and more excursions now that we have a child with us, because it's like, hey, it's hard to plan everything. Like, we used to just wing it. Now it's like, we should probably have some things like
some organization.
Yeah, some organization to our life.
Someone else to drive, or, you know.
Definitely. Speaking of driving, we'll see if we get on scooters in Southeast Asia. It's going to be fun, mostly Vietnam. But I think we'll wrap it up with that. We'll try and do, my goal. I don't know what Amanda's schedule is. My goal is to do one of these a week, just to give you guys more insight into us as a family, us as a couple, as travelers.
How and why we are the way that we are.
Yeah.
Why we do the things that we do.
How unique our situation or not unique our situation is, really with the goal to inspire you to, like, hey, they're talking about moving to Asia. These people live in the States. They have a family. Why would they be doing that? Well,
our neighbor was giving me shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I would never move to those countries. I'm like, well,
Have you
you
been?
are also a square, so.
Yeah. Have you been there? No. Gosh. And that's why we're making it, because if we're thinking about it and we're getting shit and you're thinking about it, I know you're getting shit too from people. Some people might be like, yeah, that's really cool, man. That sounds awesome. Behind the scenes, they're probably like, this idiot giving up his great job, making $20 an hour to go live overseas. Anyways, I could ramble on about a whole bunch of shit, but we want to inspire you to believe that, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. And at the
I
end
feel
of the day,
like if I can have a baby in Mexico, I can do anything.
very true. When we tell people we had a baby in Mexico, they're like, cool. Was it like a last second thing? You're like, no. We planned it.
Were you held there against your will?
Yeah. Did they stuff your baby full of drugs after you had it and replace it with another baby? You're like, no, my baby, no drugs. I didn't even take drugs. So,
It's too funny.
yeah, we go off on all sorts of tangents here. I think we'll wrap it up for this week. Again, we'll try and put these out on a weekly basis, at most
At
a
least
bi-weekly
until
basis.
we.
There's a wasp at the door.
That was weird
Anyways.
looking. Yeah. Anyways.
You were saying at least until we what?
Oh, until we go on our trip, then we're gone for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. We won't obviously be putting them out while we're traveling.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll sit in a hotel room while Keanu's sleeping like he is now, and we'll shoot a quick little 10-15 minute giving you a quick rundown, letting you know about some of the exciting stuff we've done before I take all the time in the world to edit the videos together and put out some actual content of the stuff that we just went and saw. So, that should wrap it up. Tune in next week. I need to figure out when I'm going to post them. They say Travel Thursday. Should I save it for Thursday?
Sure.
Talk Travel to Me Thursdays. Talk to me. Okay. Well, we'll come up with a jingle and something too. Like Lisa and Josh would just bang on things and make a little beat. I don't have any original ideas. I just copy everything I do from other people. So I'm like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to do it now. Put my own spin on it. All right.
Thanks for sticking around this long.
God, if you watch this whole thing, more power to you. We got some great stuff coming in the future with some real content of actual travel places. We leave for Taipei October 28th. So right around that time, I would start tuning in and watching some of the stuff that gets posted, because there'll probably be shorts, little things like that I'm able to throw together throughout the trip before the long version stuff comes. All right, we got a pizza that we made. I'm starving still. The TV's loading. It's not playing our shit. That's what happens when you work with free, downloadable BS apps. We're out of here. Much love. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Let it flow in the breeze where the palm trees grow. Sunshine high, waves so low. Island vibes that you trouble.